What's going on, everybody, and welcome to The Guide. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Valerio, but you may have seen me on my YouTube, on my Twitter, on my Twitch, or on my podcast as Italian Stallion. And I'm really excited to say that for the FIFA 20 season, I'll be joining the team here on The Guide for video production. Just to shed some light on my background as a FIFA player, I've been playing a lot of FIFA the past few years, and I went from FIFA 17, where I was hitting top 100, to FIFA 19, where again, hitting top 100, getting myself FUT Champions verified, and participating in online EA official event qualifiers. I'm looking forward to providing content for you guys on this channel throughout FIFA 20, helping you guys improve in all areas of the game. And today we're going to be starting off with passing, an area of the game that I absolutely love. And the reason I want to start off with this is because EA added a new variation to the basic ground pass, a mechanic that allows you as the user to lift any type of basic ground pass or through ball. In previous years, whether you were attempting a normal ground pass or attempting a normal through ball, there was always the possibility of the game lifting the trajectory of the ball for you. In FIFA 20, this will not be the case anymore. If you want to add a small amount of height to a normal pass or a through ball, you're going to have to manually do it yourself. As you can see on the left side of the screen, we're passing the ball back and forth between our two center backs using the normal ground pass. This is done by pressing X button on PlayStation or A on the Xbox. On the right side of the screen, however, we're actually using the new lifted ground pass mechanic. As you can see, performing this input elevates the ball and forces the receiver to trap it at a higher contact point compared to the normal ground pass. So with that, let's move on to the controller input for the lifted variation of a pass. The commands are very basic. All you have to do is double tap the ground pass button if you want a lifted ground pass. That would be pressing X on the PlayStation or A on the Xbox. The first press of the button is to load up the desired amount of power, just as you would for any pass. The second press comes immediately after. It's just a quick tap, and it functions as the trigger to elevate the ball. The same thing goes for a through ball. All you do is double tap triangle on PlayStation or Y on Xbox, and the game will give some height to the ball. The first thing we need to do when talking about when to use the lifted pass feature is differentiate between a normal pass and a through ball. Even if similar or sometimes identical conditions need to be met for the lifted feature to be useful for both passes, they are to their core needed for different situations. You will want to go for a ground pass when you want to pass directly to a teammate who's already in a good position. A through ball makes more sense when you want to pass more into the open space and have your teammate run into that space. Looking at the normal ground pass first, my favorite scenarios to use the lifted ground pass is when your attacker manages to grab the inside on the defender. While rare, it is still super effective. In this scenario, after a series of dribbles on the edge of the box, I noticed that my striker Firmino managed to grab the inside on Thiago Silva. Getting the ball right to him in this moment would allow me an easy shot on target with no defender in front of me. The problem is that attempting a normal ground pass could lead to Thiago Silva stepping forward and intercepting the pass. On the other hand, trying to go for a cross with a lob pass using square on PlayStation or X on Xbox would probably be too much. So in this scenario, double tapping the ground pass button is actually perfect, and it allows us to bypass Thiago Silva's presence. It's almost a middle ground between the usual cross feature and an ordinary ground pass. Because these are the types of scenarios that the game would help you in previous years, if you're going to want to make use of these situations, you're going to have to implement the manually lifted ground pass into your game. When we're talking about using the lifting mechanic on through balls, I feel like it's easier, not necessarily in execution, but definitely in terms of finding more scenarios to use it in. For the ground pass, this works best when the striker grabs the inside on the center back, which can be quite rare. So when you go and try to use the lifted pass mechanic on a through ball, because defenders don't seem to know how to react, you'll find plenty of situations where you can make use of angles that were almost impossible to capitalize on in the past. Now in this example, Mane is giving us a beautiful run, which we feed, and it ends up giving us the goal. If you have a second look at it though, you'll probably notice that in previous FIFAs, performing such a pass would have been difficult because a normal through ball would have had a disappointing outcome with not enough power, maybe not the right angle, and it probably wouldn't have given us the depth that we wanted. But at the same time, a lob through ball would have been too much, it would have probably ended up to the keeper, and we would have lost possession. In these scenarios, you can almost consider the lifted through ball as a middle ground between the normal through ball and the lofted through ball, which allows you access to runs that were much tougher to utilize before. The second situation where you're going to want to use the lifted mechanic on a through ball is when you're on a counterattack and you want to sweat the pass across the box for the easy finish. The reason it's so effective is because it increases the odds of the ball going through, because defenders have to put more effort to intercept the ball mid-air. Even if the ball gets intercepted, arguably a ball off the air has more odds of creating havoc. Nonetheless, the combination of passing the ball into space with the through ball and having the ability to lift the ball is extremely deadly. While the ability to lift a pass is a very basic mechanic in terms of having easy inputs, it's clear that there are added values in manually lifting some of your most basic passes. At the same time, I definitely wouldn't go all out and replace all my normal passes with the lifted variant. That would end up being extremely counterproductive, slowing your build-up down and forcing your players to trap more difficult balls than usual. That's essentially the weakness of this mechanic. Sometimes the receiver may have to work harder than usual to trap the ball. Nonetheless, in tight spaces and an offensive position, it's definitely a mechanic worth mastering. Now that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe, turn the notifications on. You're going to want to know everything there is to know at the start of FIFA 20 to give you guys the edge anytime you play. Until next time, peace out.